Welcome everybody to the ASC Weekly, the ASCW mini tournament. Here we are in the finals. We've got Complexity's Cruncher spawning as the orange Protoss, Close by Air spawning as the blue Terran, 6 Jacks DDE. This is game 1 of a best of 5 series. I'm Tumba. Co-casting with me this evening is Varapsack. Varap, here we are in the finals already, man.
Yup. I don't know what you mean by already, Tumba. We had 3 games for each best of 3. We've had as much as we could possibly have had.
Very true.
I guess maybe just the time went by really quickly because we got to cast some players normally we only see on TV.
That is true. Some amazing games. That first game versus Destiny and DDE, very hard-fought game. DDE succumbing to the Swarm. We'll see how he fares against Cruncher here, though, after coming back and with the, I guess, best of 3 reverse all-kill, if you will, winning the next 2 games on Shakuras and Tal'Darim.
Indeed. Both of these players, I think, didn't Cruncher lose the first game as well?
No, Cruncher won the first game. Cruncher versus Vibe. Cruncher opened up and actually did a Nexus cancel.
That's right.
And it was a 4-gate. And then the following game, Vibe won with a double Nidus. I believe it was on Tal'Darim. And which took us to our 3rd game in Shakuras Plateau, which was an interesting game to say the least. Cruncher had a phenomenal air opening. Did a lot of damage early. Vibe was able to get to 4 bases. And then max out attack. Had some effective Baneling bombs there. But Cruncher got to 4 base. 4 base Protoss is even harder to deal with, obviously, than 3 base Protoss. Got that death ball up, as I get a little tongue twisted there. And 4 Colossus ruled the day along with his Blink Stalkers.
Indeed it was. DDE having no walkover path of his own to get here. The first game against Destiny, obviously we keep mentioning it. It was that good that we feel the need to keep mentioning it. Really hard fought game. And they played all the same maps, so that was pretty cool. Like all three maps in both best of 3s, the same 3 maps, the same 3 games, different 2 players. So we'll have to see if we go to the same maps on this one. On this best of 3, it could be a little bit interesting. A Reaper expand coming out for DDE.
Actually, this will be a best of 5, as it is the finals.
Indeed. See those 3, the same 3 maps followed by some other maps? Actually, I don't know how many maps are in the map pool, but it's very likely that we will see all 3 of the same maps. Reaper getting into the main base now, doing a little bit of damage. Is going to get a probe kill. 1 probe down in Cruncher Town. And he's going to get a second one, actually. He does.
Can be so annoying. Hate when they come in as a Protoss. You're always worried about force fielding your ramp early. Now you have to also worry about contending with a Reaper. Reapers were gone out of play for a good while after the nerf. Terran now deciding to implement them early game. Use them as a great harass tool versus Protoss.
And it's really good for scouting as well, but Cruncher snuck that Stargate into a spot where the Reaper never got to see. So he's like, alright, 3 gateways, standard. Everything's normal. But there's a Stargate sitting there as well, and DDE's building some Marauders. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him to hold this off. He is getting Stim, however. So any Marines he does have, looks like just 1 for the moment. He's still building Marauders, actually. Any Marines he does get out are going to be that much more effective at dealing with the Void Ray. He's building 3 more barracks. Going to go for a big Marine Marauder attack. But looks like Phoenixes, actually. No Void Rays for Cruncher. And Phoenixes are incredibly annoying to deal with, as both Protoss, both Terran and Zerg. So we'll have to see what DDE comes up with in response to this, if he decides to just try to go kill him, or what.
Absolutely, and Void Ray, a little more of an expensive unit that is certainly more of an all-in-ish feel for Protoss when they open against Terran. It's not the same as Zerg. You must do damage with that Void Ray. A lot of players go ahead and use that with a proxy pylon. What they do is they use the Void Ray to grant vision to the high ground, thus allowing warp-ins into the main if they can get a proxy pylon situated as such. Phoenix take a great amount of micro, good amount of control. This is a very Marauder-heavy army, so he may do very good with this air opening.
It looks like we do now have 2 reactors on barracks. He's going to be able to get 5 Marines and a Marauder out at a time. And adding on a factory now, we'll be able to get some medevacs out. But there are 4 Phoenixes out on the field for Cruncher right now, which tends to be the magic number in both matchups. So we'll have to see what kind of... Nope, he just builds a 5th one, so whatever. He's actually spreading them out in the gap here to make sure that no drops are going to be able to get by without taking a lot of damage from the Phoenixes and without being scouted. But he's not going to see what's really going on over in DDE's base, which is that there's an expansion up, there are 4 barracks and a factory up, and that actually Cruncher hasn't seen in that base since the first gas was started. So now he's going to get in there, going to see everything that's going on, be able to react to that, and get some
and here we go, some free SCVs on those grab lifts, turret going down, gets the mule, is able to go ahead and snipe out the mule.
And not losing any of his Phoenixes just yet, taking a little bit of hull damage on only one of them up to this point.
DDE, recognizing this, he is going to push, he is going to try to inflict some damage of his own, bringing SCVs with him.
5-6 SCVs, wow.
Just as the Nexus finishes now, just as the Nexus finishes for Cruncher. Popping a Guardian Shield, we're going to see if we can hold it. Grab lifts go up 1, 2, 3, and sniping out 2 Marauders and a Marine.
Wow, Phoenix is taking a long time to kill Marauders, and it looks like Cruncher very easily going to be able to hold this attack off.
Cleans this up very nicely.
Maintaining a lot of his units as well. Still a significant army out for Cruncher. He's got those 5 Phoenixes. He's got 4 Zealots, 4 Sentries, and a Stalker out on the field right now. Still has these 3 Warp Gates. Going to be able to add a couple more if he feels like it now that he's got his natural up and running. And doing a little bit more harass with these Phoenixes. Got to be careful not to let any of them die to those missile turrets and a large number of Marines in there. But Cruncher looks like he's in a pretty good position right now. He's ahead by 25 food right now. And everything kind of going his way thus far. Nothing really been thwarted by DDE.
Absolutely, and it's kind of, you have the problem when you build this many Phoenix, though. It's where do you go from here? It is not your prototypical death ball by any means. Terran typically not used to seeing this many Phoenix. So we will see exactly what Cruncher has up his sleeve and how he transitions into the mid-game.
Yep. These Phoenixes can be quite good, coupled with some Colossi a little bit later. Just more things for those Vikings to have to deal with, forcing a little bit more babysitting to be done by the Terran on his Vikings when he tries to deal with the Colossi that are out on the field. DD a little bit supply blocked for a second, trying to get some more medevacs and some Marauders out onto the field, but he can't because he's supply blocked. Cruncher running back in with the Phoenix is going to be more than happy to fix that problem for DDE. And just flitting in, getting a couple free kills, flitting back out. Fairy Dancer Phoenixes on the field. That's what Cruncher doing a very good job of controlling them. And DDE going to switch the starport back off of that reactor, actually. Figures he doesn't really need those medevacs so much right now because they're most likely just going to get picked off by these Phoenixes without much problem. And there's the Robo Bay going down for Cruncher. He is going to couple those with some Colossi. And that could be pretty bad for DDE, as he did just forego the opportunity to start making double air units. So he's not going to have very many Vikings to deal with Colossi. He might be thinking that with all these Phoenixes, there's likely to be a big Colossus component to Cruncher's army anytime soon, but there is.
Absolutely,
so
and you can see now that 9 Phoenix are out in total for Cruncher. So he will have a gateway army as well as Phoenix to go ahead and keep his Colossi alive so they can do work.
Wow, and with all this, Cruncher's ahead by 12 workers right now, 48 probes to 36 SCVs with mules. So Cruncher a little bit ahead in economy there. Same number of bases, nobody taking a third, and it looks like DDE wants to push out here before the Colossus count gets too big. There's going to be one of them out on the field, and a pause from Cruncher. Hold on. Some lag in Cruncher's computer house.
So we will have a pause while this lag gets cleared up.
It's interesting. A lot of this engagement that's coming up is going to come down to how Cruncher uses those Phoenixes. He's going to have a lot of energy for grab lifts. Obviously, he has, you know, around 10 Phoenixes. So if he uses those well, he can do a ton of damage. But if he doesn't use them, that's a lot of his supply right now. That's most of his 30 supply lead. Tied up in Phoenixes that isn't going to be in his ground army. He's ahead in workers. So that means that if you ignore the Phoenixes, DDE has a little bit bigger ground army.
Okay, and
so
here we
Phoenixes
go.
Are pretty much important. The most important thing in this match, in this coming engagement.
Yeah, he was able to clean it up first. The first attack so very well. We'll see how he does in this one. Extended Thermal Lance not finished yet. About halfway done.
Force fields going down.
Preventative force fields going down there.
Oh, and very nice. Making those stimmed units have to run around the long way to try to get in there and do any damage. And look, he's not using the Phoenixes just yet. There he goes, making sure his army's set up to do what it needs to first. And it looks like Cruncher may very well be able to clean this up quite easily. Some more force fields, segmenting the army. The Colossus
but the Colossus does get sniped. Colossus does go down. Very expensive unit, of course, to make. However, this will get cleaned up, and Cruncher will have a supply lead with Extended Thermal Lance now finished and a Colossus on the field. So, Cruncher in a commanding lead right now.
Yep, he's ahead by over 40 supply now, and it looks like he's just going to push all the way back to DDE's base. DDE definitely has a lot of production of Marines going down. He has 3 reactors and 3 other barracks as well, producing mostly Marines and a couple Marauders at a time right now. Cruncher gonna get a forward pylon here to warp in some reinforcements and then just go lean on DDE a little bit and see what he can do. Colossi getting some free shots. Phoenix is taking out the Vikings pretty quickly, and that's one of the dangers of going, not dealing with those Phoenixes for so long. You
Absolutely, and now you see those Phoenix paying for themselves, obviously, off rip. Go out, did some damage, did some eco damage, was able to go ahead and harass.
And, well, we're just going to see a little bit more engagement coming out from Cruncher. A Guardian Shield goes down. His Colossi are distracted by some supply depots, but it doesn't matter.
GG, there it is.